Welcome to another explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here. Look, if you're a focused learner wondering how education actually prepares someone for the real world, well, you've hit the jackpot today. We all know the modern global economy is, frankly, a beast. It's complex, it's totally interconnected, and it's shifting literally all the time. Navigating it? Yeah, that takes way more than just memorizing facts. You need a specialized toolkit. So today, we're decoding the International Baccalaureate, or IB Diploma Programme, and specifically, we're zooming right in on its business management course. Think of this explainer as your ultimate cheat sheet for understanding how this program basically builds the global problem solvers of tomorrow. Let's get right into it. Okay, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The big picture, 2. The learner profile, 3. Inside business management, 4. Standard versus higher level, 5. Course assessments explained, and finally, 6. Becoming a change agent. Let's jump in. Section 1. The big picture. The IB ecosystem. So to give you some context, the diploma program is a super rigorous 2-year pre-university course for 16 to 19-year-olds. Notice the design of this model. You've got 6 distinct academic areas wrapped around a central core. Students actually choose a subject from each area. This guarantees a really comprehensive education, covering everything from languages and sciences to the arts and humanities. But here's the coolest part. The thing that wraps around all of this is the IB's core mission. It's not just about getting good grades. It's about developing inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who actually help create a better, more peaceful world. It's all about global citizenship. Let's zoom in on that central core for a second, because this is what truly glues those 6 subjects together. It's got 3 mandatory pieces. First up is CAS, which stands for Creativity, Activity, and Service. This literally gets students out of the classroom to figure out who they are through physical exertion, creative thinking, and unpaid volunteer work. Next, we have the Extended Essay, or EE. This is a pretty formidable 4,000-word piece of independent research. Students pick their own topic, and it totally builds those high-level university research skills. And finally, TOK, or Theory of Knowledge. This one is fascinating. It asks students to explore questions about knowledge itself, like how do we actually know what we know? For a business student, that might mean diving deep into the ethics of something like data mining or AI. Pretty wild, right? Section 2, the learner profile, developing citizens. Now, what's really interesting here is how the IB takes these broad, kind of abstract educational values and turns them into concrete actions. The IB learner profile is basically 10 attributes that IB World schools highly value. If we look closely, you can see how an attribute like being an inquirer directly maps to a business management student rolling up their sleeves and investigating real-world business case studies. Or take the word knowledgeable. In this context, that translates to students confidently using complex business concepts, theories, and models. This lets them navigate strategic decision-making even when things are super uncertain. Let's unpack a few more of these to really get a feel for the kind of student this program builds. Being a thinker means you're actively synthesizing and evaluating real business data to recommend practical courses of action. Being a communicator is absolutely crucial for writing clear, tight analytical responses. But look at this last one, principled. I absolutely love this. It means acting with integrity and realizing that having knowledge actually comes with responsibility. Think about how relevant that is when looking at statistical evidence in today's cutthroat business world. You aren't just learning how to make a buck, you're learning to make principled, strategic decisions based on hard facts. Section 3, Inside Business Management, the core curriculum. Okay, so this curriculum, it is definitely not your traditional dry list of business functions. It's entirely anchored by 4 key interdisciplinary concepts, sitting right in the center: creativity, change, ethics, and sustainability. Every single business function, whether we're talking human resources, finance, marketing, or operations, is viewed through these 4 lenses. And why does this matter? Well, because today's marketplace is basically defined by strategic uncertainty. By framing it this way, students aren't just learning the nuts and bolts of a business, they're learning how to adapt, innovate, and keep things running smoothly in a world that changes by the minute. To handle all that uncertainty, students are handed what's called the Business Management Toolkit. This is a whole set of situational, planning, and decision-making tools. We're talking real-world, practical frameworks, things like SWOT analysis, decision trees, Porter's generic strategies, and circular business models. These are not just theories you memorize, regurgitate on a test, and forget. They are dynamic tools applied across all sorts of different scenarios. They literally empower future managers to evaluate both the details and the broader context of massive, interconnected global markets. Section 4, Standard versus higher level, choosing your pathway. So the crucial point here is the difference in time commitment and academic depth. Standard level, or SL, recommends about 150 teaching hours covering those core business concepts we just talked about. Higher level, or HL, demands quite a bit more, 240 recommended teaching hours. And that extra time isn't just, more of the same. It brings extra depth, breadth, and totally specific extension material. For example, higher level students dive headfirst into advanced quantitative skills, like simple linear regression, calculating free and total float, and interpreting scatter diagrams. But honestly, the most surprising and maybe the most exciting thing about the higher level pathway is this totally exclusive component, Paper 3. This exam is entirely based on a social enterprise. So instead of just focusing on traditional corporate profit generation, HL students have to analyze an innovative, potentially disruptive social enterprise. They're tasked with identifying a real human need, understanding the organizational roadblocks, and then actually writing a strategic decision-making document that puts social causes front and center. It is a brilliant way to challenge students to use their business smarts for actual social good. Section 5. Course Assessments Explained. Evaluating Roaming. 1,800. Let that number sink in for a second. That is the absolute strict word limit for the internal assessment, or IA. This is a mandatory research project for both SL and HL students. So we're not talking about some massive rambling theses here. It's a highly focused, super concise piece of analytical writing. For standard level students, this 1,800-word project makes up a massive 30% of their final grade. For higher level students, it's 20%. And because it's assessed internally by their teachers and then moderated externally by the IB, it is an absolutely critical piece of the puzzle. So how do they actually pull this off? Well, the IA is basically a 20-hour journey of totally individualized research. Step 1. The student has to pick a real business issue or problem facing an actual real-world organization. Step 2, they apply one of those conceptual lenses we talked about earlier, like change or sustainability, to analyze what's going on. And step 3, their entire analysis has to be grounded in 3 to 5 specific supporting documents. It's an incredible exercise. Students are actively taking that business toolkit and applying it to a tangible scenario. They're basically acting as strategic consultants. Now, take a look at the balance across the external assessments, which are the final exams. Paper 1 tests broad knowledge by analyzing a totally made-up business scenario. Paper 2 shifts gears, demanding much deeper analytical and financial quantitative skills. It really tests their ability to crunch the numbers and analyze hard data. And then, as we just mentioned, Paper 3 is for HL students only. That's the one challenging them to write a qualitative, empathetic document for a social enterprise. So together, these papers make sure students are well-rounded communicators and really rigorous analysts. Section 6. Becoming a change agent. The ultimate goal. And this quote literally hits the nail on the head regarding what the course designers wanted to achieve. The source material explicitly says, future employees, business leaders, entrepreneurs, or social entrepreneurs need to be confident, creative, and compassionate as change agents. You see, this course is absolutely not just about passing a test or memorizing textbook definitions. Not at all. It is 100% about equipping students with the tools to make ethical, strategic decisions that can quite literally change stakeholders' lives for the better. It's about taking all the uncertainty of the future and tackling it with compassion and serious creativity. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this final thought. We've seen the sheer rigor of the IB Diploma Program. We've explored the incredible depths of the business management course, and we've unpacked that robust toolkit students use to solve real-world problems. The ultimate question is, are you ready to become a change agent in the global marketplace? I really hope this deep dive sparked your curiosity and maybe inspired you to look at business education in a totally new way. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.